gonna go straight for the payback, right? I'm hoping that they let it go through. So I'm like, please land. And it one-shots the Hypno. This is like so satisfying. What's up guys? Welcome back. So if you can't tell already, I am obsessed with Payback Shadow Machamp. I've been trying it out in different team comps and it's been so much fun to use. In my previous videos, I tried it out alongside Jellicent and Registeel and also tried it out in a triple Shadow team consisting of Shadow Swampert and Shadow Articuno as well. If you want to check out those videos, the links to those will be in the description below. But in this video, I decided to try out a really spicy double fighting team consisting of Skarmory, Sirfetch'd and Shadow Machamp. So the reason I put this team together is because a lot of times I observed that when I preserved 2 shields for my Shadow Machamp to be able to close out endgame, sometimes you might end up getting hard countered by a Charmer or a Confusion user and there's not a lot you can do. But this team almost guarantees that you're going to be able to bait out the fighting counter with your Sirfetch'd so that Machamp can sweep endgame, right? So basically the way this team works is that you lead with Skarmory with Sirfetch'd as the safe switch and Shadow Machamp in the back. And if you don't run into a Flyer or a Psychic type or a Fairy type on the lead, then you basically safe switch into your Sirfetch'd to bait out the fighting counter so that your Machamp has a pretty clear path to sweep towards endgame. So this is pretty similar to that of the Skarmory double grass and the Skarmory double Mudboy line, pretty much the same strategy here. But I was kind of a little worried about how well this team would work, but honestly it ended up working out much better than I thought it would, right? This team is like really strong and I had a lot of success with it, and also we managed to land a few paybacks as well. So let's just get straight into these battles. Okay, moving on to the first battle here. I'm going to be leading with Skarmory, with Sirfetch'd and Shadow Machamp in the back. So we have Skarmory into a Hypno. Very favorable matchup, right? Because you definitely want to catch these Confusion users on the lead. They make a switch into their Umbreon. I'm going to go into my Shadow Machamp here. This is obviously a very favorable matchup for us. And I'm going to let it go through because I know it's just going to be a foul play because it was too soon to be a last resort. It is resisted because of the fighting typing. And I'm going to try and completely counter this Umbreon down. Yes, Umbreon is extremely tanky. But again, we're doing so much damage with these counters, right? So I'm going to shield this up because even though it's foul play, I definitely want to preserve the health of my Machamp a little bit more. And hopefully I can counter down before they can get to a foul play, which I'm able to, which is fantastic. The Hypno is going to come in, so I'm going to bait with cross chop because I feel like at this point, most people might realize that Machamps are running payback, but they let that go through. So now I'm going to go straight for the payback, right? I'm hoping that they let it go through. So I'm like, please land. And it one-shots the Hypno. This is like so satisfying. I mean, I could watch that all day to be honest. And they have Scrafty in the back and this is GG. This is basically a double dark team in the back. And we have like a double fighting team. So we perfectly hard counter it, right? So I'm going to shield this up. And then they have 2 shields, but it won't matter because we should be able to counter down here. We do face a little bit of lag, but yeah, counter is going to be able to finish off this Scrafty there. So I think landing the payback on the Hypno was absolutely crucial because I think Hypno actually does well against this entire team because it can do pretty well against Skarmory as well because it has access to Thunder Punch. But luckily we were able to land it and that completely flipped the matchup there, right? So we have Skarmory into a Scrafty, very favorable matchup once again. They make a switch into their Galarian Stunfisk, immediately going to go into my Shadow Machamp. This is again a very favorable matchup because we're doing super effective damage with these counters. And I was trying to get off this cross chop, but unfortunately we're not able to get it in time. So I'm going to shield this up just in case it's an Earthquake. Unfortunately ends up being a Rock Slide shield bait. So I'm going to go for the cross chop just before they can get to another Rock Slide here. And this does get the shield, which is fine. And I know this is just going to be a Rock Slide because it was too soon to be Earthquake. This is resisted because of the fighting typing. And we should be able to counter this Galarian Stunfisk down here. And we have so much loaded energy right now. They actually come in with their Grand Bull, and I was trying to get off this cross chop. Unfortunately, we instantly get deleted there. So I'm going to come in with my Skarmory here and then go for the Sky Attack as soon as possible. Let's see if this gets the shield from the Grand Bull. Does get the shield there. And now they make a switch into their Scrafty, and ideally I should be switching as soon as possible, right? It's definitely a little bit of a mistake staying in this matchup. So I'm going to basically soak up this foul play here and then actually build up to a Sky Attack and then switch out, right? I definitely want to have stored energy on my Skarmory so that I can get it off on the Grand Bull. So I'm going to catch a Power Up Punch on my Sirfetch'd here and then hopefully I can counter this Scrafty down before they can get to another charge move. And then I'm going to go for the Leaf Blade as soon as possible onto this Grand Bull, right? Now this is going to do massive neutral damage to this Grand Bull. And it's going to put it into Sky Attack range, which is really crucial, right? And also we have a shield as well. So even if they get off a charge move, we can shield that. But I'm able to get to a Sky Attack here. This is going to take out the Grand Bull there. It's extremely close. I mean, as you can see, we're probably like a couple of charms away from being taken out by the Grand Bull. But luckily, we were able to sort of get the Sky Attack off just in time. That's going to be able to take the win there. So anyways, moving into the third battle here. We have Skarmory into a Bastiodon. Absolutely terrible matchup. Luckily, we have 2 Bastiodon counters in the back. So I'm going to come in with my Sirfetch'd here. I think this is also that Bastiodon double grass line, which is a pretty difficult team to deal with, right? And also, Venusaur has a pretty positive matchup against Sirfetch'd. So I'm going to try and go for the Night Slash, another Night Slash here, but unfortunately we're not able to get it in time. So I'm going to shield this Frenzy Plant. I have to win Switch Advantage, right? Because I have to make sure that my Machamp goes up against their Bastiodon and not my Skarmory. So I'm going to go for another Night Slash here. This is probably going to get the first shield from Venusaur because they would want to win Switch Advantage as well. And I'm going to shield this up. Like I said, I don't mind being down a shield because Machamp can handle a Bastiodon down a shield as well. So I'm gonna go for the Night Slash as soon as possible. I'm really hoping they let this go through because I think winning Switch Advantage is absolutely critical. Luckily, they let that go through. They're going to come in with their Tropius, and this is fine. We have the perfect hard counters lined up right now because I can counter my Skarmory here, and they make a switch into their Bastiodon and go into my Machamp, and this is GG's at this point. I do have to watch out for Flamethrower in this matchup because that would do quite a bit of damage here. But they go for Stone Edge, right? That's resisted because of that fighting typing. And we should be able to counter this Bastiodon down here because I know they can't get to another charge move. And I'm just going to go straight for the payback onto this Tropius, right? This is going to do massive neutral damage or get their shield. And it lands and does so much damage. That does about 60% of Tropius' health. And this is game over right now because Skarmory completely walls Tropius. And then we should be able to Air Slash down here. They still have a shield, but it doesn't matter because one more fast move should be able to take it out there. So, I mean, Bastiodon double grass lines can be very difficult to deal with because typically most people tend to run those double grass, have those poison subtyping which resists those fighting type moves. But if you can win Switch Advantage and line up the counters perfectly, then there's nothing better there. So anyways, we are 3-0 in this set right now. Let's move into the fourth battle here. We have Skarmory into an Azumarill, right? So typically what I like to do in this matchup is I'm going to count the bubbles here. And then, because I don't want to get hit by a Hydro Pump. So they've done about 5 bubbles right now. So I know this is just an Ice Beam. So I'm going to let it go through. And then I'm going to land a Brave Bird and then switch into my Sirfetch'd. I have to switch out, right? Because just in case they have a Charmer or a Psychic type in the back, I have to preserve my Skarmory for it. So I'm going to go for the Brave Bird here. It's going to do massive neutral damage to this Azumarill. And then immediately going to switch into my Sirfetch'd and try and get off this Leaf Blade as soon as possible. Unfortunately, we're not able to get it in time there. So I'm going to have to shield this up, even though I know it's just an Ice Beam, because Sirfetch'd is extremely glassy. So at this point, I'm going to actually build up to 2 Leaf Blades and throw the Leaf Blade just before they can get to an Ice Beam here. Let's see if this gets the shield from the Azumarill because they're probably very, very close to a charge move right now. And they do shield that, which is fine. They're going to go for another charge move. I'm going to shield this up as well. The fact that they haven't switched out tells me that whatever they have in the back is extremely weak to fighting, right? Because they should have probably switched out by now. And they have a Registeel in the back. This is a clear indication, right? Whatever is in the back is probably even weaker to Sirfetch'd. So my Shadow Machamp is a pretty clear path towards endgame there. So I'm going to go for the Night Slash here. It does get the shield, which is fantastic. Going to go for another one. Again, we're doing so much damage with these counters. So that Registeel is going to have to throw the Flash Cannon as soon as it gets it, right? So I'm going to try and counter down as much as possible. And they're going to go for a Flash Cannon right now. This is going to take us out, but this is fine. This puts the Registeel in perfect counter farm down range for my Machamp. So I'm going to come in with my Machamp and I know we should be able to farm it down before they can get to a charge move. And we're able to counter it down, which is fantastic here. And they decide to give up the match there. So they probably had something like a Shift Tree or probably an Obstagoon or something in the back, which is why they didn't even switch out when I switched into my Sirfetch'd, right? And a lot of people don't expect that double fighter in the back and it can catch a lot of people off guard there. So anyways, we are 4-0 in this set right now. And let's move into the final battle here. We have Skarmory into a Galarian Stunfisk. Pretty bad matchup this, but luckily we have 2 Galarian Stunfisk counters. So I'm going to come in with my Sirfetch'd here. They make a switch into their Skarmory. This is perfect. This is exactly why you have this team comp, is to basically bait out those flyers so that your Machamp has a pretty clear path to sweep endgame there. So I'm going to go for the Night Slash here. Sirfetch'd is going to do massive damage to this Skarmory because of those counters and Night Slashes. So I'm going to go for another Night Slash and let's see if this gets the shield from the Skarmory. Does get the shield, which is fine. They're probably going to be able to farm us down, which is okay. So I'm going to come in with my Skarmory. I'm going to wait out the switch clock and then come in with my Skarmory and basically soak up the charge moves here. So they probably have like close to 2 Sky Attacks right now. So I'm going to let it go through because everything they have is resisted. So they go for Flash Cannon, which is very interesting. I am seeing a lot of Skarmory's running Flash Cannon these days. Not sure why. They make a switch into their Galarian Stunfisk. I'm going to go into my Machamp here. This is fantastic. We also managed to catch a Rock Slide as well, which is resisted. And they basically switch locked themselves here, right? They probably thought that we didn't have another fighter in the back. And like I said, that's what can catch a lot of people off guard there. So I'm going to go straight for the Cross Chop here. It's going to take out the Galarian Stunfisk if it goes unshielded, as it does there. And let's see what they have in the back. They actually have a Drifblim in the back. So I'm going to try and go for the payback here. I don't want to go for Cross Chop because I think that's triple resisted because of the Ghost Flying typing. And I'm gonna have to block the Icy Wind, and I'm gonna try and go for the payback, and this is probably gonna get the shield from the Drifblim because Machamp has access to Rock Slide as well, and even Rock Slide can one-shot, so they do shield that, which is fine. And I was trying to switch into my Skarmory, unfortunately we're not able to get the switch in time, but luckily we have a Brave Bird on the Skarmory. I'm able to get into the Brave Bird just in time here. This is gonna do massive neutral damage to this Drifblim and almost one-shots it, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't quite take it out, so I'm gonna have to shield this up because our defense has been extremely lowered right now. And they actually come in with their Skarmory and go for a Charge Bomb. Really hoping this is just a Sky Attack. And even Sky Attack does massive resisted damage because of our lower defense. But luckily we're able to Air Slash down. And then we're able to Air Slash down the Drifblim as well there. So very, very close battle, honestly. I mean, I had to throw the Brave Bird because I needed to get off that damage before getting the Icy Wind debuff. And that was basically my only win condition there. But like you can see, it's a 5-0 set, right? It was just, this team is like so solid and so much fun to use. And yeah, it worked out much better than I originally thought it would there. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.